Well, that's weird. Sorry.
That's all I've ever wanted, is to hear an apology. As
Sorry.
always, thanks for coming out on the Northernlion Live Super Show. It is the Wednesday, June 25th edition, and if it sounds like I am confused about that, that's because we didn't do a stream on Monday. So my hard drive crashed unexpectedly, but miraculously I actually did like an external backup about 4 hours before the hard drive actually crashed, which is the craziest shit that's ever happened to me in my entire life, and it's been replaced, and here I am,
Wow.
joined by my esteemed co-host, Nick Rockley Smile.
Glad you managed to get that backup in there. I was a little worried.
It was
But yeah.
We had someone come and look at it. I was basically like, because I know nothing about computers, I was basically like, well, gotta buy a new one. This one doesn't work. Gotta buy a new one. And then he came over and he tested some stuff, and he's like, it's gonna cost you like $120. I'm like, okay, that's
Yeah,
better.
that's a lot cheaper than a whole new computer.
Man. It's weird because I didn't want to spend a lot of money on a new computer if I could just get an easy fix for this one. But I'm
Right.
planning on buying a new computer anyway. So like in December. So I was like,
Yeah.
maybe this is a convenient opportunity to do so.
It's basically the exact thing that happened to me in October, and then, I just decided to spend a ton of money instead.
Yeah. But I guess
So-
buying it in the winter or the fall is better.
It is. They get the new announcements out of the way, the prices all go down, and, hopefully get a good deal.
Well, how are you doing, Nick?
I'm doing all right. Tried to get by on Monday. I missed you. Not
Sorry,
having a
yeah.
stream. I mean,
My-
it's not your fault or anything. I went and did my own stream, and people came, thankfully.
By the time my computer was back, I was able to see the tail end of you playing Metroid Zero Mission. Fusion.
Yeah. No, it was Zero Mission.
Zero Mission,
And
okay.
I started it off by reading Sonic EXE, that crazy fanfic thing.
Okay.
And playing the Sonic EXE horror game, which is just ridiculous. My chat's complaining that I'm blurry. I'm a still picture, guys. I'm sorry. It's two still pictures talking to each other. That's how it's going to be today. But hopefully the call won't break as much, so that'll be the upside.
It seems pretty good to me so far. I don't know about you.
Yeah. Well, until we get struck by lightning, which is the next thing. But
Right.
it's holding out right now.
Because you have a storm going on right now.
Well, it's in a lull, but it looks like it could start up again anytime.
Fantastic. Should be an interesting show. It's not like the stream is cursed or anything this week.
Yeah.
In any case.
So I'll break, and then Thursday will just be Josh.
Yeah, exactly. Well, whether you're here or not, our docket for today is going to be coverage of a little bit of news and fan mail for our opening section. In the background, you can see some Sniper Elite 3 footage. This is from a video that'll be coming up a little bit later today from the second mission of that game. The mission of the first mission, or the video of the first mission, is up on my channel right now. This game comes out in 2 days on PC, in the midst of the Steam sale, which I gotta say is pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
Same with Shovel Knight, which comes out tomorrow. But in any case, in our middle section, we'll be doing the Binding of Isaac Daily Challenge. And then we're finishing off with an NES laser shooter Contra-like game called Karnov, starring a man of Siberian descent. A strong man.
Did you check your facts?
Well, he looks Central Asian to me, but you
Okay.
said he's Russian. So
Yeah,
I'm,
I wasn't
I'm-
sure if he was Siberian is all, but I
I'm
know he's
splitting the
partially
difference.
Russian.
He looks,
Okay.
like I said, he looks more perhaps of Kazakh descent to me.
Dude is ripped.
Perhaps Azerbaijani. Anyway.
Is that how you say that?
I don't know.
guess-
It makes you sound more
Said it's-
legitimate, though, if you do it that way. Anyway. Nick, let's talk news. Slow news day?
Well, I mean, every day is a slow news day around here, but we do what we can. Do you have something to lead off, or would you like me to rip into something?
Why
here?
don't you grip and rip it John Daly style?
Rip it and rip it. All right. First thing is Metro Redux has a release date, and if you don't know what Metro Redux is, they're actually redoing, and we're getting into that, making an HD remix of an HD remix of a remake
Yeah.
of. It's like that, only for Metro 2033 and Last Light. They're actually reporting those and putting them out on all the major consoles and PC again. So with upped shadows and upped geometry, and just everything's supposed to look better and play better and all of that, because it was a very tasking game on computers. So they've confirmed that it will be coming out in the US on August 26th and August 29th in Europe. So that's that. Any
How do you
opinions?
feel about the Metro series in general?
Kind of indifferent, only because I hadn't played it, and I only just bought Last Light like 2 days ago because of the
Okay.
Steam sale.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be getting into this, but that was part of my reason for finding this kind of funny, is because I had actually written on Twitter, so guys, what's wrong with this one when I buy it for $6? And the response is, well, they're redoing it in a few months.
Yeah.
So
You know, I played Last Light on PC last year, and it's not really, you know, if first-person shooter fans get divided along, like, old school and new school lines, I'm actually much more of a new school kind of guy, because I'm a piece of shit that actually likes, like, Call of Duty sometimes, right? But
Sure.
if you're into old school shooters, then I think Metro is pretty cool. Not to say that it's necessarily along the same lines as Wolfenstein, but it feels way more classic like that, I guess. And you know, it looked great on PC when I played it, so I don't think you're missing out by having purchased the non-definitive version. But
Right.
if you own the 360 version, it might be a little bit of a different story, I guess.
I heard it was very tasking on most people's graphics cards, like if you wanted to get the most out of it on PC. So I'm hoping they'll do something to alleviate that issue a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll see. Is the remastered edition coming with like both games packed into the same package?
From what I could tell, I think they're actually being sold separately. Yeah.
So it's
So,
going to be two
yeah, I
different
guess
games.
two different games releasing on the same day. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a package, though, although I'm a little not clear on that based on what I'm reading here, because it's possible.
I think they were $30 again, or like if I remember correctly, they're going to be $30, which is not so bad either. But yeah, they're not really my kind of games. But I hate to be the conspiracy theorist. Thank you for that, by the way, Kate. But
You're welcome.
I thank you. I seem to think that this is just a really easy way to kind of like recoup costs on games that didn't necessarily do that fantastically. More power to them. Like, I'm definitely not going to pick up a remastered edition of Metro, but for people that maybe missed it last year, that seems like it might be a good time to pick it up. And they have an excuse right now, right? They have an excuse to say, like, this came out on PC and last gen of consoles. Now, it's kind of like you have, like, a 6 to 12 month window where you can be like, let's remake the shit that didn't do so well within the last year of the console's life cycle, quote-unquote life cycle anyway, and we can remake it guilt-free for now, and we have a very good excuse. Like, you couldn't do a remastering of, like, Metro in 3 years, I think. That would seem a little weird. Maybe you could, though. Maybe I'm missing the trend here.
Doesn't it send a little bit of a weird precedent in that there's this thing where we seem to be taking games and immediately remaking them? I mean, I know it's because of this strange, not correlating hardware thing going on, but, like, isn't it a little too soon? I don't know.
And
Doesn't
maybe
seem
it's
right
like
to me.
this is the new version of the Game of the Year edition where they used to just pack in all the
Right.
DLC. Now it's like this is because what do they call like The Witcher is the extended edition, and then what was the other one? Tomb Raider is like definitive edition or something like that.
Right.
Yeah,
I've
maybe
seen
that's
some
what it is
complete
now.
editions, some the black edition, like all kinds of. Just put a name at the end, and that's the edition that it is.
Yeah, I'm the kind of person that doesn't really care if I own the comprehensive edition of the game. Like I just mostly care about the game, and I think that's true for most people. But like, I don't know. I don't really find myself needing to wait, if that makes sense. But I can see people being more interested in waiting if stuff like this happens. The only problem is, how do you know what's going to come out and be, you know, what's going to be remade in 2 years and what's not going to be remade ever again?
Sure.
But
And they make 3 different versions of it, and then you need the definitive version to set those apart. Like, which one was the best version?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Anyway,
It's a little wacky.
Metro's Metro. I don't know. Seems better than doing, you know, if Deep Silver's going to do something, it's better than if they were doing like Ride to Hell Retribution remastered.
Oh,
So,
sure.
Yeah.
I'm not really upset about this news. Honestly, it's probably fine. It's just like, it just confuses me a little bit that we need to remake stuff so much.
Yeah.
It's probably good, though.
I know what you're saying too, especially when it's so early. You're like, you know, that's why the excuse is there, because you want to say like, well, why didn't you just remake, or why didn't you make it definitive the first time, right? But
Right.
oh, you know, the old consoles were not out then. I imagine that the new version of Metro probably won't look that much more
Came out-
amazing, but
From May 2013 to
Yeah.
June 2014? Like, come on.
well, August. There's going to be a lot of graphical
Okay, sorry,
revolutions there.
I had a couple more months on that for me.
Anyway. Cool, yeah.
That's Metro. Next.
News, yeah, more news.
This is a sort of a nebulous and not necessarily amazing thing, but blue PS4 controllers are set for release across North America. We didn't have a date for those, and apparently they've already launched with the launch of the PS4 in Europe and Japan. So we're going to be the last, US and Canada will be the last territories to receive colorful PS4 controllers. I really don't like the blue color that it is. It's like a really awkward, like, cheap plastic looking color to me.
Yeah, it looks like like when I was a kid and I got a PS2, I was like, well, I don't want to spend money on, like, I could buy a Sony controller for $50, or I could buy this shitty, like, Dino controller for $35. So that is what the color reminds me of, but sure. How do you feel about, like, accessories for consoles and stuff like that? Because generally speaking, I don't really care about them at all. But I know some people feel differently. They're collectors or just like the look of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been on that side of the fence. I've definitely collected things a few times. In fact, I had about 10 different N64 controllers for a while because I wanted to get every color.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really silly. But, you know, I have no problem with these things existing, and that's fine. In fact, I think the more customization and options that exist, the better. It just seems weird that we always have to have them on this, like, delayed release. So it's like, oh, you were excited because we have a controller. Now we have a colored controller. Then we're going to have 5 different colored controllers. Like, and each time they make these new announcements, people are like, wait, I have choices again. I should buy something. It just seems like it's trying to trigger some sort of element in people's, like, lizard consumer brain to go out and buy something.
Well, I think because, like, if there's only one kind of controller available at launch, people will buy 2 of them because they want to, you know, play co-op and multiplayer. And then they don't want you to be able to actually get the other colors because you'll buy them anyway. You'll buy, like, a third controller.
That's what I mean.
Color. Yeah, it's...
They're leveraging that.
Maybe exploitative, but I can understand why they would do that, for sure. Yeah.
Well, but then again, Europe and Japan had it at launch, so I guess they can't really say that that's actually the case because they just didn't do it here.
Someone in chat said the blue controllers actually let your shots do more damage. So
sweet.
That's like a microtransaction
really
in the real world. It's like a Skylanders thing, which I think we definitely need more of in the gaming industry.
There's also going to be a magma red controller coming out at some point. I haven't seen a picture of that yet, so I hope it's probably a more, less cheap-looking color.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter to me, but that's cool. I like the PS4 controller. It feels good. I still don't understand the touchpad at all, but apart from that, I think it's pretty okay.
Yeah, I actually really like it, too. I was a little put off by the options button being where it is. It seems very not in a good place for me. My thumb never finds it. It always hits the touchpad instead.
I hit the share button by accident all the time, too.
That's dumb. Why did they even put that there? You should be able to just turn that off.
Well, they put it there so that you can easily share the glitches that you find in EA UFC. Did you see that video from earlier today?
No, I didn't, but I want to. That's probably great.
Okay. Yeah, there's, I forget the guy's name. It's like Tommy Toehold or something like that. Did a video where he and his friend are like pretending to be UFC announcers and like commentating as if it were serious over some of the glitches that happen in the game. So like some guy just like his animations completely go frozen and then he just is like sticking his arms and legs out like this and they're like, what do you think is the best part of this strategy where you fake being a desiccated corpse? And they're like, well, you're gonna confuse the guy and make him wonder if you're like a real person or just an object that's fallen into the octagon. And yeah, it's like 3 minutes of really, really hilarious glitches in that game. Anyway.
That's pretty good. I'm definitely going to watch that.
Hey, here's some news. Don't buy EA UFC.
Bam.
Fast news day.
The fastest.
All right. What else do we have? Hey, Nick, I'm going to tell a story.
Yeah, do it.
You didn't want to talk about it. I want to mention it. Minecraft has now sold 54 million units combined across all platforms, and perhaps even more surprising, I mean, 54 million is a number so large I can't even comprehend it, for the most part.
Sounds like a commercial failure to me.
Oh, yeah. No, it's like, it's not even that good. Like that guy on Twitter said, like, it's good for an indie game. 54 million copies is really good for an indie game, but not good for a AAA game.
Absolutely.
That's like almost twice the population of Canada, by the way, which is crazy. But
commercial failure, Canada as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's just one of the worst Commonwealth countries for Britain, for sure. But I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, the surprising thing is that it's actually sold more copies combined on the console editions of the game than it has on the PC and Mac versions of the game, which is crazy to me. I would not have expected that, but given that it's always like a huge seller when it comes to like the charts on Xbox Live Arcade, and the PS4 version recently came out, and the PS3 version's been out forever. Anyway, I think that's surprising to me.
I'm surprised by that as well, because you're taking a version that's sort of intentionally crippled versus the version that's endlessly moddable and has all the features in the entire world, and that's the one that isn't selling as well.
It's pretty nuts. I think it's maybe because the audience is I'm not saying Minecraft is a game for children, but there's a huge child audience for Minecraft.
Yeah.
And maybe those, don't have PCs that are maybe they're, if you're a 6-year-old kid, you're more likely to have like an iPad or something or nothing than a computer that's even capable of running Minecraft. Not that that's that resource intensive. Anyway, I'm rambling, but I think you.
No, you're probably right about that. And also the setup and elements like that. If you're trying to play multiplayer, it's certainly much easier to do matchmaking on Xbox Live Arcade than it is to set up a Hamachi server or whatever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that's a pretty good reason. And I've actually tried to do this stuff before. Setting up a Minecraft server is really obnoxious. And you would think it wouldn't be, considering how popular the game is and like how young the primary demographic is that's being gone after. But it's not really a concern, I suppose, since the console versions take care of a lot of those issues.
Yeah. Maybe the other thing that's great is that... I guess like Minecraft doesn't go on sale all that often, right?
I don't know. I mean, I only bought it once, and it was still in alpha at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Why would you put it on sale? It sold 54 million copies.
I think, if anything, it should just go up in price every month.
I think every 100,000 people that buy it, it should go up by $1.
That's a great idea.
Which would mean that right now, if my math is correct, if it started at like $0,
Mathis,
it would cost you like $540 to buy Minecraft right now.
That's a good deal.
Which is pretty.
Think about all the gameplay.
It's never going to get better than that. You can buy it at $540, or you can wait until next year when it's going to be over 1,000. Shit,
man.
Minecraft is the new cryptocurrency. It's the new Bitcoin.
We're literally mining it right now.
We're going to be shipping Mojang codes or mining Mojang codes. Anyway,
that's amazing.
Minecraft has sold a lot of copies, 54 million. That's absurd.
I like Minecraft.
I think it's pretty okay.
I get cravings to go back and play it sometimes, and I play it for like an hour, and then I just don't play it again for 2 months.
I'm burned out on it. Like I've probably played over 100 hours of Minecraft in my life, but they were all years ago.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think I've probably done more than that, actually. Probably closer to 500. I was pretty into it for a while. I was like playing it every day for a while. I was building crazy castles. I was on a few different servers with friends. It's a good time. It's a good collaborative time as well if you have some friends to play with.
All right.
I'm saying that like we needed to put a commercial for Minecraft, like it needed some, endorsement.
I think we're the push that game needs. Really.
Right.
I think that's why Notch watched me play TF2 a couple weeks ago. He's like, I'm going to do some research on this guy. I think he can really take our game to the next level.
Yeah. Well, that's actually the real reason I'm endorsing Minecraft, because he's been in every single person of my friends' streams except for mine, so I really just want to push him over the edge.
Oh, exactly, yeah. I don't want to brag, but we're pretty close.
All right,
he's a subscriber. I send him messages like once a week. He doesn't really reply, but that's okay.
It's all right. He's a busy guy.
I guess so, yeah.
Trying to dig himself out of that commercial failure of Minecraft. Poor guy.
I'm waiting for Minecraft 2 when they fix all the problems.
Yeah, they really should make a Minecraft 2. I'm pretty sure it would sell quite well.
Even if it only sold half, it would probably be considered okay. That would still make it like the third best-selling game of all time. Anyway, other news. That's the only news story I had. Mostly to just bullshit.
Yeah, that's fair. So there's going to be a new version of Saints Row dubbed the National Treasure Edition. And it bundles all the DLC that exists for $30. And I hadn't been following the DLC, but apparently there's 29 packs.
Okay.
Which, holy shit, that's crazy.
That is, I've seen some of those packs, and there's been some, like, mission-based stuff, but a lot of it is like, Professor Genki's fuck dildo, right? And then you get, it's like, put on, like, this 10-gallon hat that shoots fireworks out of the top of it. That's $1.99. So, I mean, that's what Saints Row is all about, and that's okay, but...
At that point, when it's that absurd, I can't even be upset anymore, because it's just like completely vestigial, pointless DLC that I would just not even notice on my radar. So if they're just going to bundle it in with the game, who cares at this point?
And that's another Deep Silver thing. Maybe that's Deep Silver's taking all their games from last year except Ride to Hell Retribution, and
good call,
repurposing them or repackaging them for release on new consoles. I have to imagine that is crazy cheap to produce.
Yeah, I would think so. Turnaround time is probably pretty good too.
Yeah, and that's okay. I imagine there are some people that will totally be into that.
If I didn't have it already, I probably would have bought this bundle. I mean, it's coming out in mid-July, so we're not that far away. It's only, a few weeks from now.
Yeah.
Potentially. Yeah, I mean, Saints Row 4, great game. I really enjoyed it. I think you enjoyed it a bit less than I did.
I liked it a lot. I think it opened super strongly. Like, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I think like the first 2 hours of that game, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then after a while, it kind of becomes like, you know, go over here and blow up this tower, and then like fly over here and blow up this tower, and all the encounters ended up being very open worldy in the way that open world games tend to be. And I was kind of like, I liked it, and I liked the tone in particular. I thought the tone was the strongest part of it, but I still couldn't get over that kind of like, you know, rinse and repeat mission objective style.
And for me, it just scratched the Crackdown itch.
Oh, yeah,
which, you know, funny as it is to put crack and itch in the same. But anyway, it really is a thing for me for whatever reason. I really enjoy these like games where you're just one dude that takes over a map little by little.
Yeah.
And Infamous also did the exact same thing.
Europa Universalis 4, yeah.
That does it for you. I prefer explosions to reading because I'm just that kind of guy, I guess. I don't know. Saints Row's cool. I would definitely buy this if you haven't picked it up.
Yes. It's also on sale on Steam today, I think. But it's not the definitive edition, so be careful.
Yeah, wait for the HD remaster. Wait, don't do that. So that's probably all I have to say on Saints Row.
Yeah, I don't have anything more to say either.
The only other story I've got, and then, that's kind of early, we're going to end up doing some fan mail today. Crytek has allegedly been having trouble paying staff, and I think this is specifically Crytek UK, and they've canceled the sequel to Rise. Boo-hoo, hoo-hoo-hoo.
It's boo-hoo for like, the jobs, at least.
No, that's true. I just mean as a consumer. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to frame it like that.
No, yeah. Like, when I saw the article, and it was, like, people at Crytek UK claiming, like, hey, they, like, we're not getting paid. Like, we're working, but people aren't paying us, and that's kind of shitty.
That's really,
Yeah, and I was like, well, what are they working on? And I read the article, and I'm like, they're making a Rise 2? You get one Rise.
You get one.
That's what happens. It's the only time that game can work. It's the launch. What's good about it? It looks great. It's a gorgeous looking game as far as like the next gen consoles go. But nobody really liked it. Really, it was boring for the most part, is what I heard. I own it. I was not even compelled to freaking pop the disc into the console.
You own it and you didn't play it.
So I shouldn't judge it necessarily, but almost everybody was like, this game's boring and not
You judged it already.
I know.
You didn't even play it.
You're exactly right. So that's what I was like, fool me once, no shame whatsoever. It's a new console. I will buy a shitty game when a new console comes out just because there's nothing else. But Rise 2, I can't get behind. I'm sure Crytek is doing fine, but I would go because they're making so much shit right now, right? They're making the Homefront sequel, and well, maybe they're not, because they also they announced that new like monetization model for the Cry engine. I don't know anything about business. The end.
Yeah, I just mostly wanted to say, yay, no Rise 2, because I'm a scumbag like that. And because when they were first touting that game as being the next big thing, I could smell the industry BS coming from 10 miles away. Every single person that was playing that game looked like they weren't having fun and were just reciting bullet points. And I was like, this is the clearest shit. Like, obviously, there's just going to be a load of butts, and it was. And now we can move on.
That was the game that also had, like, that weird, like, completely ignorant of culture kind of like promotional campaign where like the promotional Twitter for it was like, we've had 500 dinners in the office and like 12-hour days making Rise, and everyone was like,
that was the one.
You're not supposed to brag about that, because like you're supposed to maintain like a work-life balance so people can actually see their kids grow up instead of making this game that nobody's going to care about in like 3 weeks. And then they're like, we've ordered 1,200 pizzas in the office while our programmers work 16 hours days.
It's so shitty.
They
were bragging about making their workers into slaves. That's awful.
And I'm sure, if you're like 9, you could look at a tweet like that and be like, they're working hard. But it's not like the programmers and the artists and the QA people are there and they're like, I want to test Rise 12 hours a day. It's more like, the boss is making us test Rise 12 hours a day, so it's slightly less bad when it comes out. Anyway,
And how shitty for it to have been a bad game on top of it and have to have spent most of your life, or a large chunk of your working life working on it so hard.
Exactly. It's silly. Anyway, I hope that Rise 2 is good if it comes out. If it doesn't come out, I hope those people find, work elsewhere. I have nothing against the action. That feels like a game that is it's like Knack. It's the Xbox One's version of Knack.
Right.
Why would you buy a PS4? Like, Knack is the PS4 launch, right? It's all about the games, and it's gonna be fun for the whole family. And Rise is like, check out how many freaking polygons we got, and you can stab a dude through his urethra from the perspective of the knife, and
like Sniper Elite.
It's like some Blinks the Time Sweeper shit, right? Like, anyway.
Oh, I don't blame any of the individuals either for this sort of thing happening. It seems like whenever there's a launch game, this always is the case. Yeah, and it's because they need to manufacture some product under a stupidly short time constraint. And it's always just like, we've got some features, make that game. It's not about what would actually be fun. So I'm pretty sure that nobody involved in the production of this game actually really did anything all that wrong. It was just a flawed concept to start.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right. There's other news. Probably the biggest news story of the day, honestly. Platinum Games.
You're talking about the Korra thing. Okay.
Yeah, Platinum Games announced. First off, remember we mentioned they have like 12 staff. Or like 15 staff.
The hardest working people in the goddamn industry, apparently.
Currently making Bayonetta 2, which includes a remastering of Bayonetta 1. Scalebound. Recently released Metal Gear Rising across all platforms. Last year came out with Anarchy Reigns as well. Also now making a game based on The Legend of Korra, which, as I understand it, is the sequel to Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, is sequel the right word? I guess like spiritual successor maybe as well?
Admittedly,
I don't know.
I'm totally ignorant of this property, except for the fact that whenever I'm like, I don't really watch anime, people are like, you should at least watch Avatar and The Legend of Korra. So
I have watched Avatar, and I liked it a lot. I just haven't gotten around to watching Korra yet.
I'm excited for Platinum Games to be working on something else, and the art style, I'll see if I can... I don't want to pull up a screenshot from a website uncredited, but the art looks beautiful, and definitely like very different from the stuff that Platinum Games has done in the past.
Right.
Maybe it looks a little bit like, I don't know. It looks kind of cartoony, like Anarchy Reigns, which I guess is based on Mad World, but it looks
Your
good.
chat's saying Avatar and Korra aren't anime. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
What are they?
Cartoons.
But if you call them cartoons, I thought that was the more offensive.
I don't know, man. I don't know there's a right answer here. It's American, you scum. Are you only allowed to call it anime if it's Japanese?
Okay, well, this is definitely the argument that I don't want to get into.
It's a good show. How about that?
Sure. I've heard nothing but good things about Avatar: The Last Airbender. The movie accepted, which everyone accepts is god awful, right?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I can't believe that they're working on so many games, but that's cool. And one thing that was kind of interesting is that it's coming out for basically every platform but Wii U. So between Scalebound, I kind of get the idea that maybe they're not super psyched about their partnership with Nintendo, but maybe that's just me reading into it. But it's coming out PS4, PS3, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PC.
That's funny you mentioned that. And I just sort of tangentially ran across some sort of an article, and I don't even remember where I saw it or exactly what the context was, but it was something saying how Platinum were so excited about their partnership with Nintendo after Bayonetta 2 that they said they wanted to keep doors open to work with them in the future. So I feel like they contradicted that concept.
That's weird. This is kind of maybe presumptuous, but I sort of feel like a game based on The Legend of Korra would be a good fit for the Wii U. It seems like those properties would have some overlap, maybe more than like the Xbox One would.
Yeah, I kind of agree. They should reverse them. Put Bayonetta out on the PS4.
Yeah, that seems like a perfect fit for me as well. Anyway.
I just really want Bayonetta on the PS4.
I just wanted to come out. At least now it has a release date, a release window at least. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I really like Platinum Games. I've never loved anything that they've done, but I never played the original Bayonetta either. So
Bayonetta is one of my top 10 games. I love that game.
I know Kate really loves it as well.
It's like the perfect character action game. The controls are so damn tight. It's like Super Meat Boy if it was a character action game. It feels just the way I want it to.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
You're welcome.
That was, from what I can tell, the largest news of the day. PlayStation Plus has new free games, Nick.
Oh, yeah, I actually saw. I think one of them was one that I was interested in, too. I think they have Muramasa but I don't know if that was for PS4 or Vita or PS3 or what.
There is. I will read them here. I don't want to watch the freaking trailer. There is Muramasa Rebirth. Just
On
link me to
Vita?
the article.
If it's a Vita one, I'll probably get it then.
I know that there was Towerfall Ascension for PS4, which you should download if you don't have already. And Strider was another one, which again I would recommend getting if you haven't gotten already.
I have that on Steam. I gotta play it.
It's good. It's good enough anyway. And Dead Space 3, which is weird, but it's a good mix. Strider, Towerfall Ascension, and Dead Space 3. On Vita, PlayStation 3 owners will get Dead Space 3 and Vessel, which is that puzzle platformer based on like fluid mechanics. I don't see the Vita games actually though.
Thoughts?
PlayStation Vita European subscribe. Oh, here I go. On PlayStation Vita, North American subscribers receive Muramasa Rebirth. Both regions, Europe and North America, get Doki Doki Universe, which we bought for like $40 6 months ago. But that's the price you pay with, for a service to be good, I guess. Anyway, that's that. I think that's
nobody knows the Vita games.
They
have hoping chat would.
Those were the Vita games.
Oh, those were. I'm sorry. I thought you said those were the PS3 games.
No. My mistake. That is basically it from what I saw of news, though.
Yep, that's all I've got as well. So sounds like we're up to fan mail.
I think you are indeed correct. Well, you know what? Why don't we do a quick recap of the Steam sale for today?
Oh, okay.
So
we'll look here.
We'll start with the daily deals. Endless Space. Have you played it?
No.
It's good. Civ-style 4X game, but in space. Definitely worth $7.50. Extremely complicated, but also very, very fun. Have you played BioShock Infinite?
I own it. I was planning on playing the whole thing on stream. Haven't done it yet.
I've never played it either. This might be the only show on Twitch where the two people talking have never played BioShock Infinite. That's fucking crazy. Have you played Half-Life 2?
Yes.
Okay, well, we're not unique special snowflakes then. The Banner Saga. $12.50. It's a great game. One of my favorite games of the year so far. Beautiful art style, cool kind of XCOM-ish Viking aesthetic combat. What I feel like they should advertise is that the game is episodic. None of the other episodes have come out yet, but the game ends on a cliffhanger, and like, even though it's marketed as kind of like a complete game, it definitely it's an incomplete story, and it's not like it seems like it's not taking like an artistic like, oh, we're gonna end the story in the middle because that'll be a cool artistic decision. It's like to be continued, basically. So know going in that if you buy the Banner Saga, you're opening yourself up to maybe, if you want to complete the story, buying future episodes in the future. I think it's good. $12.50 is a much better price than $25 for that as well. Child of Light. Did you play Child of Light?
I'll give you the spoilers. The only ones I played are the ones on the bottom.
Oh, perfect.
Batman, Kerbal, and Counter-Strike.
All right. There's a different order for me, but that's okay. Child of Light is good. 25% off. Not really enough to move me to say that it's an incredible purchase, but I like that Ubisoft is making stuff like this, and if you want to pick it up, this is maybe a little bit more tempting. Final Fantasy XIV, I have no experience with. Kate has played it. She doesn't really like it, but other people who play a lot of MMOs like it.
I liked 11, so if it's anything like 11, then it would probably be okay.
There you go. Well, it's 3 better, right?
Yeah, they do rank them like that.
Company of Heroes 2, I've played. I thought it was okay. I didn't really get into it. Some people have. I know it had a lot of problems at launch with stability, and also people took issue with the way it depicted like the soldiers on the Eastern Front, but new DLC just came out for it that is getting pretty well received. But you don't listen to me for opinion on that. All right, Nick. Batman Arkham Origins.
Pretty good.
Okay.
It was okay. I mean, I can't really say there was anything about it that really particularly stood out. It just seemed like, okay, here's some more Arkham Asylum / Arkham City stuff. I'm kind of more excited for the new one, Arkham Knight, than I am for this. And I didn't play that much of Origins either, but the bit I played was like, all right, this is fine. For $8, there's no problems there. I also got it for free because I had a graphics card with a voucher, so, it's not like I had to pay for it.
Yeah. It's the one that is considered the worst of the 3, right? It's the one that's not...
It seems that way, yeah.
It's not developed by Rocksteady.
Yeah, from the consensus that I've gotten is that it does seem that way. I mean, it looks pretty. If you want a game that'll task your computer and you're really into Batman, I think you could do a lot worse in 750, so it's not like you're paying that much.
Uh, what about Kerbal Space Program?
I have positive impressions. I kind of think that I might not be smart enough to play that game very well, but from what I've played, I've enjoyed it. It's fun to be able to just dick around and make silly rockets that do strange things. I've had no success with like getting to the moon or anything. I mostly just like to build stuff that explodes a little way up into the atmosphere.
Kerbal Space Program is well worth 1620, and it's not going to get any lower in the Steam sale. So if you want to pick it up, I would suggest doing so. It's one of those games you could spend hundreds or thousands of hours with if it grabs you the right way. Especially if you don't have people leaving you comments like they're freaking Jet Propulsion Laboratory engineers just giving you like the formulas to land on the moon. Anyway,
it's more fun if you're not a YouTuber, I would think.
I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but I totally agree. And not to butt in too much, but Counter-Strike Global Offensive, you should just buy it. Just buy it and then you don't have to think about it anymore.
Right.
People are going to be playing
will be off.
It's going to be like TF2 where people are going to be playing it for the next few years at the very least. So I really like it even though I'm shitty at it. I would recommend it.
Seems like they kind of position Counter-Strike as like, this is our main effort as far as a paid first-person shooter that's mostly competitive other than TF2.
Yeah.
Well, I said paid, so I guess it was already differentiated.
Yeah, although TF2
Good
did
game.
only go free-to-play in like 3 years after it came out, I guess.
Oh, okay. So maybe in
years,
another year, then Counter-Strike will go free to play.
It's possible, but I doubt it. But it could. I don't know. They're making a ton of money on microtransactions in the game anyway. Maybe it would be best to just open it up. But
Right.
I think it's worth $750 as well. The same way TF2 would be worth $750, even if it weren't free to play for the past 4 years. I don't know about what you see for community choice and flash sales. I think They Bleed Pixels for $2 and Tomb Raider for $5 are really good deals.
The whole set, except for Gianna Sisters, I'd be down for if I didn't have them all already.
Yep. The only reason I didn't say Mirror's Edge is because it makes me throw up.
Yeah, and I think Mirror's Edge is a fantastic game as long as you don't have issues with motion sickness.
Infested Planet at $750 was a pretty cool, I only played it when it was in beta, but it was a pretty cool, squad management RTS kind of game. And $750, it's still kind of like an impulse purchase, and don't take this as necessarily a strong recommendation, but I think it's worth checking out and seeing what people think about it, because I liked what I played back in the day, and $750 is a much more attractive price point.
I just don't have any opinion on Infested Planet. I've only seen a few materials on it. It looked okay. I didn't really didn't grab me that much.
Visually, not that incredible, but from a gameplay standpoint, it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I know. For next car game, I would wait. It's early access. It's
got a lot of potential.
Yeah, it's fun as is,
yet.
but very content barren. Feature
And
barren.
the Secret World will probably be free to play soon because it's an MMO, and that's how all MMOs work.
I'm surprised it hasn't gone there yet.
Yeah, I figured it would be by now, but no, this is probably last-ditch efforts. I'd give it another 3 or 4 months. It'll probably be free.
All right. And that's pretty much it. You can still buy Splinter Cell Blacklist for $750. I wanted to mention on this platform that a lot of people messaged me yesterday, and they're like, I want to pick up Splinter Cell Blacklist, but I'm scared about Uplay. Splinter Cell Blacklist is still $750. All I can vouch for is the single player. The multiplayer connectivity was always a problem in Uplay.
Right.
Sometimes it'll be fine, and many of you who have played it will probably say, I never had a problem. Some of the people we tried to connect to, and it was the same for Assassin's Creed 4, you just can't do it. For whatever reason, you guys have different NAT settings and just will not connect, and that's a Uplay specific thing. So if you're getting it, I would almost say get it under the pretense that you're only going to play the single player, which is excellent. It's a very good single player campaign that I would very much vouch for. I think it's one of the best stealth action games I've ever played, but know going in that you are going to have to deal with Uplay, and that might make multiplayer a very, very frustrating experience. But on the bright side, cough, cough, I hear that there's not very much of an active community in the multiplayer mode anyway. So, there you go.
Ah, now I understand the cough, cough.
Good, but bad. In any case, do you have anything else you would like to add?
About Splinter Cell specifically?
About anything you want to say, Nick. Now's your chance.
Well, I already closed out the window, but anything else on the bottom here? Brothers is $3. I've heard nothing but good things about that.
Oh, Brothers is
apparently
definitely...
you should buy Brothers.
You should definitely get Brothers. It is great. And even if you don't, agree with like Brad Shoemaker and Total Biscuit that it's one of the best games of all time, it's well worth $3.
Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition for $6.79. I like Fallout 3 better, but Ultimate Edition of that for $7 is really not bad either.
I don't have any opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if you're at all a Fallout fan, it seems like kind of an obvious purchase, but I can't imagine that you would have put off buying it or to this point if you weren't into it to some degree.
Yeah.
Or you weren't, you know what I mean. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Did EU4 go on sale? A lot of people were tweeting me about EU4. Maybe it didn't. No, doesn't appear so. I would expect that it still will at some point. Cool. You can get Metro for $6.80, as we talked about. But that'll do it for this section. If you want to send us some fan mail, the email address is nlssfanmail@gmail.com, and we will come back with some delicious fan-related questions. Maybe you want to talk about what you picked up in the Steam sale so far. Maybe you take issue with something we said during the news section and want to have your voice heard. We'll do our best to read those and highlight some important ones when we come back. But for now, 3 minutes of ads, followed by fan mail, followed by the Binding of Isaac Daily Challenge. Thanks for joining us so far, and we'll be back very shortly. And that's that.
Someone made a bet in my chat that you're better at Metroid Zero Mission than me.
That's absolutely not true. I saw you playing it, and I didn't know if it was your first time through or if you played it.
It was
many
my
times.
second, but it was years ago, and I didn't remember anything about it.
It honestly seemed like you were doing really well.
Well, thank you.
I watched some of the what do they call it? Awesome. It's Summer Games Done Quick, not Awesome Games Done Quick.
They just say like GDQ because the first letter changes sometimes. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I watched some of that last night. That was pretty fun.
I've just been leaving it on like pretty much all the time when I'm doing stuff. I just have a window with that going, and there's like, oh look, there's a game I know, and then I'll just watch it for a little while and kind of move on.
What I find interesting about it is that like I watched Cosmo do part of Castlevania 64, and then some other dude do like the other N64 Castlevania that's a lot worse. And
right,
I have no interest in those games whatsoever, but it was really fun to watch.
They do an amazing job at making a good show out of terrible games, and I really appreciate that because it takes a lot of work to make something like that salvageable.
Yeah, that was really cool. But how does it work? Like, are there any games that they run, if you know, that are longer than like, 3 or 4 hours? What happens then? Because like I didn't see if they do like restarts or anything like that. But what's the formula there?
I don't think I saw any that long ever. I mean, I've only been watching this since last year, so I'm not really familiar with all of it. But I think the longest thing I've seen was when the guy did the 106% Meat Boy run, and that was like an hour and a half. That was quite a shit show too. Those people were really giving him a hard time, and it wasn't even his fault. He had a driver issue for most of his run.
It was causing frame rate issues, right?
Yeah, well, it was either that or just the input was screwed up because he kept sticking to walls, and people in the chat were just like, you're making up excuses. And he was literally not making up excuses. And as someone who runs Meat Boy, I know the feeling, and it's happened to me too.
Yeah.
And then they went in and just fixed the files, and then, he's like, I can play again. And then he went and beat the level he couldn't beat before because he was stuck to the wall. And it was just kind of really nice karmic justice to see chat have to kind of suck it up for a second and be like, oh, wait a minute, he wasn't just making excuses. People are like really hard on him. Dude had like 70,000 people watching him. You know what kind of pressure that is to have to perform for almost 2 hours going through 300 Meat Boy levels? It's crazy.
It's nuts, yeah.
Whatever. It's just silly.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Where's Jay Smith lately? He's still having trouble with his internet or something like that.
He's getting settled.
Yeah.
That's the way I would describe it, but I haven't talked to him in a few days. I think, as I understand it, he is still kind of getting set up in his new place.
Longest run I've seen is 3 hours. It's a long time.
What was that for?
They didn't say. I'm going to guess something like Mario 64, maybe.
I think it was Elucidator in chat said, like, Paper Mario The 1,000-Year Door is around 4 hours as well. That's got to be stressful, man. Like, the Castlevania Legacy of Darkness run was like 16 minutes. So it's like if you fuck it up 5 minutes in, well, no big deal, right? You fuck up a speed run like 4 hours in, that's gotta suck.
Oh, I know. When I watch Full Grown Gaming and he plays Majora's Mask, the dude has like over-hour runs, and he'll just throw it in the last couple segments. And it's like, well, reset. It's like you just devoted over an hour of your life to something that meant nothing at all.
That sucks.
It's really lame.
Well,
That's why I don't think I could ever run anything that long.
Oh, it's 6 hours now. The Paper
6 hours.
Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. The last run is Final Fantasy VI, which is estimated at 5 or 6 hours as well.
How do you even practice for that? You must have to do it in segments and then try to stitch them together in the actual live run.
Yeah, do you buy like 4 of the console and then just keep like one save file perpetually at each part so you can keep like doing it over and over? I don't know. Sounds crazy. All right, we're back from ads. Let's stop talking about Summer Games Done Quick, although it is awesome and for a great cause. I'm sure you know how to find it. It will be one of the largest streams on Twitch after our show is over, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see what kind of questions we've got here. Jay Perry says, I played Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons only an hour ago, and completed it in one sitting. I usually struggle to play a game for more than 30 minutes, and not in this case. It was a 2.5-hour game, and it was great. Thank you for your feedback, Jay Perry. I completely agree. It took me about 3 hours. I did it in 2 sittings, and I found it very, very engaging. A wonderful, heartwarming adventure.
Yeah, I'll have to spoil it on stream for everyone at some point.
Have you played it?
Still haven't.
Oh,
it was another one of those things as like I was putting it off to make an impression or something, and I just get distracted by these game jam games. They go on forever, and I just forget about it.
I think you would really like it. Taka Shuffle says, hi, Northernlion and Nick. What boggles my mind about this Metro rework is why the hell didn't they do the definitive edition for PC in the first place? PC could have handled it easily a year ago. After that, they could have ported that version to the PS4 and Xbox One. Now they're double dipping again. Your thoughts? Best regards, Taka Shuffle. What do you think about that, Nick?
Watchdogs.exe has stopped working. You know what my opinion is on that whole thing. I really am trying to hold back on the cynicism for this because I do believe that there are many more forces at work than the ones that we as consumers choose to see. But, the skeptical part of me says that, part of it is also just that too. So
maybe Chad could let me know in this situation. Is Tomb Raider Definitive Edition like substantially better looking or even noticeably better looking than the original Tomb Raider version that came out for PC? Not the original Tomb Raider from 1996, okay? Don't be silly.
Now you've opened up the door.
But does 2014 Tomb Raider on PC look better than 2013 Tomb Raider on PC? Because if it does, then that's fine. But I expect that kind of, the reworked version of Metro is going to look exactly the same pretty much as the version of Metro that came out in spring or summer of 2013. So my assumption is that pretty much it's just like, well, you get front page promotion because it comes out again, and it's going to be on the new consoles.
Well, from what I read, the new Metro is actually getting redesigned geometry and a new lighting engine and stuff, so they're supposed to be making it substantially better. But as far as Tomb Raider, in my estimation, from what I've been able to read about it, it seems like it's the difference between going from like medium settings to going on like 30 frames per second to ultra at 60. So maybe even not quite ultra, maybe like high with a few settings on custom.
Yeah. It's weird to me that both Tomb Raider and Metro were those games that also had like proprietary graphics card stuff in them. Like, right. I know
Tress Effects.
Tress FX was the Tomb Raider one, I think.
And that was an AMD thing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so I was stoked because I had an AMD card. But then Metro had the NVIDIA one, PhysX, I think.
Yes.
And that was on by default, and it got me like 8 frames per second because I was running it through an AMD card. Yeah, so when I turned it off, it got a lot better. But hey, it would be cool if those didn't exist in the remastered editions of the game.
That was the launch version, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they patched it for performance since then.
I think that was pre-release, like a week pre-release. So They were probably like, we shouldn't have that on by default because like 40% of our players don't have NVIDIA cards. I actually don't know what the split is, but anyway. Josh Clark, that's JG Wentworth. He says, at Awesome Games Done Quick 2014, they cut a Fire Emblem run mid-run because it became unbeatable. And then from last night, Dacid Bro and Rom Count's Symphony of the Night speedrun / race was excellent, by the way. What games have you guys enjoyed watching so far? And also, I picked up Aqua Kitty Milk Mine Defender in the Steam sale, and it is hands down the most Bractaman simulator on the market.
Nice.
Very true. Aqua Kitty Milk Mine Defender is a game I don't know if there are many games where I have a greater gulf between my appreciation for the visuals and my appreciation for the game. Because the game is like, it's Defender, but the visuals are just lovely. just plain nice.
I just like hearing you say the title.
Aqua Kitty dash Milk Mine Defender, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually didn't see Dacid Bro and Romcout's Symphony of the Night. I was running, and then like they started, and I finished.
Speed running.
I was not really speed running, more just a regular run, the way I play Isaac, for example, versus the way you play Meat Boy. But I did see, I saw Cosmo play Castlevania 64, which I thought was really cool because it was just him, and he was actually like keeping up a narrative and like explaining what he was doing, and it was really illuminating to hear things like, you know, oh, I look away from this part because it drops the frame rate down by like 6 frames per second, so it slightly slows down the run, so I have to look in a different direction. And like hearing like, I don't know, does he live in like a speed running house or something like that? Because he's always talking about like, yeah, we were doing this, and then you know, all of a sudden I just had a eureka moment one day, and I'm like, do you live in?
He probably means his community.
I guess, but I had this assumption they live in like a commune of speed running, which sounds hilarious. Yeah, so I thought that was cool. And then the guys who played Legacy of Darkness were kind of just like, I mean, it was only 20 minutes long, but they were also just talking to one another. So I preferred the former. But what about you, Nick? What have you seen so far? Because that's all I've seen from SD.
I've had it just on in general, so I think a lot of it is blurred together. But the ones that I can remember, the Super Meat Boy run, obviously, I was quite present for that whole thing. People kept spamming Rock Yahas in there, which was making me laugh a lot. There was also, they did Dust and Elysian Tale, which actually kind of made me appreciate the game a little bit more because the way that the guy broke it was kind of ingenious. There was a race on Shatterhand, which was quite a lot of fun to watch, and some really obscure games too that I wouldn't expect to see speedrun, or that they even have a community, which is kind of awesome. What else was there? Some ones I watched today. There was one that was like, I'm probably going to get the name wrong. It was like the Batman baseball something. It was like a bonus game that I don't think was necessarily on the schedule, and it was just 4 dudes with their joysticks just like going to town on crazy stuff with like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with baseball bats, essentially.
Wow, that's weird.
They weren't actually turtles, but it was like a parody of Ninja Turtles. It was like a side-scrolling brawler game.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun to watch. I missed Bashi, unfortunately, and I also missed the Symphony of the Night one, which I really wish I would have seen. But
what I found interesting is that they were, this is all I saw of it, is they were playing the Xbox Live Arcade edition of Symphony of the Night. And I guess the reasoning for that is that it's not on the PlayStation 1, so you don't have to deal with as absurd loading times from disc or something like that, but I didn't actually hear them explain it. But I always find stuff like that cool, when people like the way that people play like on the Chinese editions of the consoles, because the text is slightly faster and smaller than like the English versions. Like that stuff is super cool to me.
Yeah, they've min-maxed every possible input and like what things work out better. And yeah, it's usually the text on the Japanese ones tends to scroll faster. That's like what I've seen anyway.
When there have occasionally been times, and the last time was like Guacamelee, I think, which I think got speedrun and was fucking nuts. But there's been times where I've been like, I'm gonna be a competitive video game player, so I beat Guacamelee faster than the first time by just going fast, and I'm like, I feel really good and validated about myself. And then I see shit like, you know, I bought a Chinese console to play this game on, so the text scrolls like 1.5% faster, and I'm like, oh, I will never be anything. This is never going to happen for me.
The dedication. This is a very commonplace thing that people do buy and import consoles and games just for that reason, and it just blows my mind because I'm not that dedicated. If it was inconvenient for me to speedrun Meat Boy, I wouldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny. It's a different sport, right? Like,
yeah.
If you play ice hockey, or like you can throw like a spiral in football, you would never say like, well, I'm going to go try out for the 49ers, right? But in video games, it's like, I'm pretty good at Mario. And then you watch someone play and you're like, these people enter a different league altogether.
Completely. Like, as if there was like the greatest major league sports league, it's like 3 levels higher than that most of the time, because they've done everything there is to do in those games.
Incredible amounts of respect. I can't even imagine like how they discover half the shit that they do. It must be kind of like, it must be a little bit of an iterative process, right? Like stuff that works in one game must give you kind of insight for other games. Like,
yeah, Yeah, there's some out of bounds stuff that I think is common knowledge. Like I watch people do the Sonic speed run on I think it was Sonic 2,
Mm.
and I think some of those same practices can come into play. A lot of sprite-based games of the same era kind of follow similar like structure to the way that the games are put together. So I think if you understand how to clip through things to break them, you can manipulate them in similar ways other times. But it's also a lot of trial and error too.
Nick, Bob Frank has some important questions here.
Okay.
Northernlion and Nick, me and my friend were having a heated discussion about cookies. And I know you've debated
Here we
various
go.
foodstuffs on the show. I can't remember if cookies have been brought up. When I brought up favorite cookies, it wasn't enough for this scum to proclaim her love of chocolate chip. She also had to denounce the good name of oatmeal raisin, which is my personal favorite,
Oh, Jesus.
although of course I'm fine with chocolate chip as well. So I took a page from your handbook and said that chocolate chip was for babies who like sweet things, and other harsh things were said in times of war, while oatmeal raisin was for adults with refined tastes. What is your and Nick's takes on this important issue? Thank you for the fodder for discussion, Bob Frank. What do you think, Nick?
I actually like them both, but I understand where you're coming from. And I really don't know that I would want to necessarily pick one over the other. I think more often I tend to prefer chocolate chip because I just think it goes well with a glass of milk. And it's just like a nice, here's a comfort food, right? In a way. And with oatmeal raisin, I mean, that definitely does that as well. And I'm more prone to eat many more oatmeal raisin than I would with chocolate chip. But I think the chip experience slightly more, if that makes sense.
I'll go a step further, and Bob Frank, I've appreciated your support in the past. This might be where it ends, because I think chocolate chip cookies are fucking delicious. Oatmeal raisin cookies, just okay.
Ouch.
I said it. I'm not afraid to say it. Chocolate chip cookies, a fresh baked chocolate chip cookie might be my favorite kind of cookie out there. But you know what else I really like? Peanut butter
What's
cookies.
Yeah, I could get down with those a little bit.
That's not really. I expected you to be a little bit more excited than that.
Well, I was thinking also some of like the Girl Scout cookies that I could get into,
Do
the
you
Thin
like
Mints and stuff.
I was gonna say the Thin Mint's top tier for you.
Yeah, they're pretty high up there.
All right.
I can't really think of anything else at the moment, so I'm pretty sure it's them.
I'm with you on the Thin Mints as well. How do you feel about this is the most divisive cookie on the market these days, ever since the macadamia nut scare of 1991. But
Of course.
how do you feel about the Subway macadamia nut cookies? Obviously considered probably the highest tier Subway cookies by the vast majority of the populace.
I'm unfortunately discluded from this discussion because I can't eat them. I have a nut allergy.
Oh, okay. You know what I'll say?
What's that?
I don't think they're that good.
All right, I don't feel
I
so
think
bad then.
they're okay. But you know what's another good kind of cookie? Cookies with M&Ms in them.
They're okay.
Oh
I feel
my
like that would
God.
hurt my teeth sometimes.
No, they're good. Sorry. Or like Reese's Pieces. They're
No,
fantastic.
they're good. That too, like just in general, candies, like chunks of candies in my cookies, feels like it hurts my teeth.
Really?
What about those Christmas cookies that are just they have like a bit of sugar on top of them? What are the just sugar cookies? I
Eh,
guess
I don't really like
they're
those
kind
so
of
much.
filler, right?
Yeah, those are. I feel bad eating those because if I eat like a freshly baked chocolate chip cookie, I'm like, this is bad for me, but it tastes delicious. And when I eat like a Christmas cookie, I'm like, this is just satisfying my brain's primitive need for like fried dough and sugar. Like it doesn't. I'm not even enjoying it, but on like
Right.
a survival level, my brain thinks this will help me live. So
Oh, molasses cookies, I like those.
I also love molasses
Ginger
cookies.
snaps.
Ginger snaps, I can get behind those. You know what I like actually? And this is like this is my version of saying this is my ketchup sandwich. This is my fucking Alamo. Is those Pillsbury like Halloween or Christmas cookies where you just get the tube of dough and then you
Yeah.
slice them and bake them? I like those. At least like the first day, they're a little soft and gooey. The second and third day, they kind of just become like, tablets. They're the fucking, what is that?
Return the slab.
I want to call it the red barchetta, but it's the Rosetta Stone. That's what I'm trying to say. They become like Rosetta Stones. But anyway, that's how I feel about that.
You get quite a rush from saying that.
Ah.
Ah.
Anyway, that's that.
Brownie trumps any cookie, though. Maybe.
I'm okay with brownies. I don't eat that many any like baked goods. And it's not because I, consider them unhealthy or something like that. It's just because I prefer salty snacks to baked goods for the most part.
Brownies or muffins.
Brownies, absolutely. Muffins, I feel, are just... It's cake that's trying to justify itself as a non-cake food. I have had good muffins, but it's like the chocolate chip oatmeal raisin thing again. I don't want to eat an oatmeal raisin muffin, because it's bad for you and it doesn't taste that good. But I'll eat a great chocolate chip muffin if I have to, because it tastes pretty good,
Right.
but I'd rather just have a cookie.
Just a nice, warm blueberry muffin with a little pat of butter on it. Goes a long way.
I can get down with that as well. For the most part, I don't really like muffins, though. Because maybe it's just me. If you gave me the choice between like a muffin and a toast with butter, I would rather have toast with butter 10 times.
I'd rather
out
have
of
the
10.
muffin, actually.
Really?
I like them both, though, yeah.
My dad's like that. My dad is always... I hated going on vacation with my parents because he'd be like, it's breakfast time. Let's stop at the coffee shop. So do you want like...
How many muffins should I load you up?
Yeah. Do you want like a muffin or a donut? And I'm like, that's the same thing, basically.
A donut, huh?
Anyway, I really like toast. I'm a huge...
You do breakfast donuts?
Well, you can do donuts for breakfast.
That's kind of new to me. I haven't really heard that one.
Isn't that's not like an American thing too? You get like
It might be, but I might be sheltered from it.
You get like a cup of coffee and a donut.
Well, that's like the Dunkin' Donuts way, I assume, so I can't imagine that it's that strange. But for me, I've never done it. It's always been muffins, if anything, but probably bagels.
Oh, yep. Yeah, okay, we're back on the same page. I was just gonna say, if I'm at a coffee shop for breakfast, I'm going either breakfast sandwich if they've got one, or like bagel cream cheese.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, of course breakfast sandwich if they've got one. I'm saying if we're devoid of that option.
Yeah, if you're at like a gas station or something.
Hook me up with the egg in there somewhere. I need the egg.
But yeah, if I had to rank it, I'm like a toast bagel guy. More on that side. Toast bagel with like a fatty spread, I can get down with.
Cream cheese.
Yeah, delicious. Like some herb and garlic cream cheese.
Go work in an office. Donuts are every day. Oof.
Herb and garlic cream cheese. Yeah, working in an office is bad for stuff like that. My main memories of working in an office are donuts for breakfast and mayonnaise-based salads at potlucks every damn day.
Man, I wouldn't be able to handle that. The sugar rush from the donut, I would just crash at like 11 a.m.
Do you know, I was looking up on Wikipedia, like, Midwestern American cuisine, and what's haunting about this is that a lot of the links are purple, and I don't remember clicking them. But I did. At some point
shit.
But there's things called, like, in like, the Midwest, I don't know, like Minnesota, Iowa. I'm boning up for the next time we get that Family Feud question.
Yes.
There's things called, like, Snickers salads, which is just a chopped up Snickers bar, or multiple chopped up Snickers bars.
What?
With whipped cream. And then you just mix that in a big old bowl and take it to, like, your Sunday church potluck.
No, thank you. That sounds awful.
So there's shit like that, and then there's, like, glorified rice. And I'm like, what's glorified rice? And they're like, it's rice and whipped cream and then like crushed pineapple, and you whip it up in a big old bowl and then take it to your Sunday church potluck.
Okay.
What are you people thinking?
We're getting into rice pudding territory, though, although the texture of whipped cream is not... You can't equate that to rice pudding, so maybe we're still off. I don't know. I never had that.
Yes, people in chat from the Midwest, verify for me. You can also look it up on Wikipedia to prove that I did not make this up. It exists. And there are pictures of like a big old banquet table and just like 12 ceramic big party bowls, and half of them are like pasta plus mayonnaise, potatoes plus mayonnaise, eggs plus mayonnaise,
right.
And then the other half are chocolate and whipped cream, rice and pineapple and whipped cream. This shit is fucking crazy, man.
The pineapple curdle the whipped cream?
I actually don't know.
The acidity in it, I thought, would make it turn.
This is the only time when I've seen this in chat and agree. Me Hero 9 says, really? 3,700 viewers for this? We're not always like this. A third of the time we're like this. Why can't people just be normal about their pot? Okay, normal is it's a judgment word. Why can't people be more like people who are not crazy when it comes to...
Or reasonable. Reasonable is the word.
I prefer that. You know what you should have for a potluck? You should have... maybe some sandwiches. A salad, maybe based on a spinach or lettuce base.
Right.
Dressings on the side, toppings on the side. People can choose to add what they want. Perhaps a faux charcuterie table of cold cuts and various sliced cheeses. A vegetable tray with, again, optional dips. Don't just put it all in a bowl with a big wooden spoon and mix it together. That's absurd.
How about, like, a bowl of brownies, a bowl of cookies, and a bowl of whipped cream, mash it all up and serve it.
That sounds like a dessert bar.
No, no, that's breakfast.
Oh, that's just breakfast. And you know,
That's
when
breakfast.
I was on these Wikipedia articles, in the potluck part of the article, like the article on potlucks, it mentions this thing called like potluck phobia, which is people go to these things and then get scared because they didn't make the food themselves. So they get like really particular about what could be in them. And then you look at the freaking dishes, and I understand it because it's just there could be anything in there. It's just a big white gloop of non-contiguous ingredients.
I thought you were going to say we were scared of being poisoned.
Well, I mean, I think it's more just like, I don't know. I understand it because I don't really like when strangers prepare my eggs. It's weird. I know it's weird, but when the potluck shit got me going, because I was like, I don't want somebody just mixed like a can of boiled potatoes and a jar of mayonnaise and then brought it to this thing and put paprika on top of it. Like, I don't want
Well,
it.
I just don't trust the general public cooking that well because, like, I've seen on Hell's Kitchen, you get these people that, or Kitchen Nightmares rather, on the Chef Ramsay show, where they've spent most of their lives dedicated to, you know, the culinary pursuits, and then they go on the show and they can't freaking cook chicken.
Yeah,
And it's like
yeah.
raw inside. So like, how are we going to trust these people who are apparently qualified or how are we going to trust the commoner when we can't trust the qualified people? It's really strange to me.
I agree.
Don't want to get food poisoning.
That's the end.
Don't give me food
It's
poisoning.
the end of this discussion. It was good while it lasted. I liked it. Have you ever
It's
had
a bowl
food
of
poisoning?
semen? No, I thank goodness I haven't.
I'm gonna come up with a conspiracy theory here. It seems like almost everybody I know has had food poisoning, and they always know where it came from. I
Right.
think you're full of shit. I think you had diarrhea, or maybe you got a little flu, and you think, oh, I shouldn't eat that freaking Chips Ahoy from the bottom of the bag. I think restaurants get a bad rap for food poisoning a lot.
You think it's easier to cast the first stone when you're not sure?
I
You'd
think
rather blame somebody.
I think there's like a 24, 72-hour period for incubation for foodborne illness, and people just immediately blame it on whatever the most suspect thing in their recent past is. So people won't even say like, I shouldn't have eaten that pink chicken from Applebee's, right? They always say like, they never have like a reason beyond like, oh, I think I got freaking food poisoning. It was that it must have been the spicy chicken McNuggets I had at Wendy's. Why? That's food safety is way higher in those establishments versus your average, like, everyday at-home kitchen, I think. You're much more likely to have poisoned yourself, you big old dummy.
It's pretty likely, yeah.
Anyway. And, of course, you know, no disrespect to the people who died in, like, E. coli outbreaks from Jack in the Box and stuff like that.
Yeah, because that shit does really happen.
It does.
And it's sad.
It does. Anyway. I've never had food poisoning. I did have... What is that? What's that? I had Norwalk once. That was awful.
Connecticut? I don't know what that is.
That's Norfolk, isn't it?
I don't know.
Norwalk is like it was a virus that was going around when I was in like university, and you know, you just shit yourself while you're throwing up.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Yeah. And I blame it entirely on the Cheddar Bay biscuits that I had at Red Lobster the week before.
You can't blame Red Lobster. Those are so good.
I went back. I wasn't mad.
Oh,
It
okay.
was more like, this is worth it. So it can't possibly be worse. Anyway, Norfolk is in Virginia. My mistake. We'll be back to play the Binding of Isaac Daily Challenge. Thanks for the fan mail. We went a little overboard.
I
But
got
that's
the
okay.
right place. It was Connecticut.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I don't know my geography very well.
That's good. And there's so many food questions in our...
I mean, we could
email
probably
box.
talk for the next 2 hours about food.
And
if
maybe
really
we
wanted
will while we play Isaac. But for now, we're going to run some ads, and then we will come back with the Binding of Isaac Daily Challenge. Why don't you play along with us? Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
to. Boop. Now to set up some Isaac.
Yeah. I was really glad when I replaced my hard drive that all of my Isaac stuff was still there.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who values continuous gameplay and save files, I imagine it's very scary. I mean, I also do. Every time I've had to change out a hard drive, I'm like, shit, what's gone? I hope it wasn't my Let's Plays.
I was surprised. The Steam Cloud actually saved me a lot of hassle. Normally, what I associate with the cloud is like we couldn't access the internet, so your save's not there. But this time when I signed in, it was like, we're going to download, like, 200 megabytes and all your shit's going to be okay. And I was like, that's a really good deal.
Handy.
Yeah.
For me, it's actually messed me up a bunch of times because I go to delete my save file for Meat Boy, and I keep forgetting that it has Steam Cloud enabled. So I'm like, I want to do a fresh run. Why is my save file still here?
Oh my god, there's so much cat fur everywhere.
It was Ninja Baseball Batman. That was the game I was trying to remember the title of. It's the first time I'd seen it. It's a rather entertaining looking game.
It was like a fan-made game, right?
No, I mean, it wasn't actually Batman. I think it was just some Japanese weird brawler.
Oh, okay. Weird.
Yeah. I like weird games a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do. All right, this is a different situation. My whole family got food poisoning from pizza, and we were sure because I was the only one not sick, and I was the only one that had a different kind of pizza. All right, you know what? If your whole family only eats like one meal together, and you actually have like almost perfect laboratory conditions, that's lovely. You got the perfect. You should sue them, or at least be like, "Hey, you poisoned us, you motherfuckers." And apart from that, though, I do think restaurants get a bad rap.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we're just talking in hypotheticals anyway. I don't think we were trying to call anybody out for their personal experiences.
I was.
Oh, okay.
There is a restaurant in Vancouver, which I won't say the name of, because the food is actually delicious, and I'm the only person that's had this problem. But every time I eat it, immediately after, 15, 20 minutes after, I have to take a shit. No matter where I am. Grocery store, on the bus, it hits. Like, I haven't shit my pants, but I've come pretty close. And everyone else is like, I don't know why you got this, because I don't get it. I have a pretty strong stomach when it comes to other stuff, but 20 minutes after eating into this restaurant, every time I will shit. Or
Sounds awful.
I will want to. But the food is really good. Restaurants gets a bad rats. How do you feel about that one, Nick?
I don't like bad rats. I'm pretty sure people say that about Taco Bell all the time, too, that it makes them shit. I don't understand that criticism. I've never had any problems with Taco Bell, really.
I always assumed that maybe those people would just ruin their intestines with years of, like, habitual drinking and drug use.
Yeah, and I haven't done that, so maybe that's what it is.
But I've never eaten at Taco Bell, so maybe I shouldn't throw stones. But when people are like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that Indian food, I'm like, do you have, like, ulcerative colitis or something? And no disrespect to people that do have ulcerative colitis. I'm just saying,
yeah.
You know, if you're a relatively young person with a healthy GI tract, I don't think that kind of stuff happens. But maybe it does. Again, maybe, I don't know. Fuck me, I'm 25, I don't have hair on the top of my head. I shouldn't be telling you about the, ideal human body, should I?
So I think we're back from ads, or at least I am.
We
I have a couple
are.
subscribers I'd like to shout out if I could.
Oh, dude, I totally forgot. Thank you for reminding me.
No probs. So I want to say thank you to, it's either I or one Leeds United 23.
Oh, yeah. Leeds United.
As well as Swede Beans. Thank you so much for the subscription. Welcome to the Rock Quarry, and I really appreciate the support.
There you go. I have Salusius, Pole 152, Alpha Tyrant, Maoist Muffin, Leeds United 23, and Swede Beans as well. Up, down, to the side. Welcome to the Lion Pride. Anyway, shall we?
We shall. Do you have the seed, or do you need me to look it up?
I do need the seed, actually.
All right, let me get it.
Where's I got my things mixed up here. This over here. Is anyone in chat here because of the annotations, by the way?
Oh yeah, I keep asking that too.
Twitch has those new integrated annotations with YouTube. Let me know if you got here as a result of that. Because if it just, like, works, that would be awesome.
I had a Moobot command that was repeating every 15 minutes asking that.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think I got a single response.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One person the other night told me that they found it, though.
All right.
I have the seed for you if you're ready.
1 second.
Yeah, go ahead and take that out of context, chat.
And we should point out, if you want to watch both of us play at the same time, why not just head to NLSS.tv. But for now... Oh, wait, I opened a second instance of Spider-Man. Okay, I'm ready, Nick.
It's 48
Okay.
629.
That's it.
That's it.
Really?
It's a short 5 digits.
48629?
That's the whole thing.
Is that correct?
Unless they hide it in the thread. No, that's it. That's the whole thing.
Some people are saying that's how I got here, yeah.
48629.
420, 420, 420, 420. All right, well, at the very least, I'm assuming you're right, first off, but even if we're missing some numbers, at least you and I are on the same seed.
No, I mean, I just got it off the subreddit.
All right, I trust it. Let's begin.
Such contempt. All right.
Are you ready? I'm ready.
I just launched in with Isaac just now.
Okay. Hey, and Seth Rick X just subscribed as well. Up, down to the side. Welcome to the Lion Pride.
You're welcome.
I'm glad to hear. Don't. That's Josh's line. God rest him.
Yeah, we miss Josh.
We do miss Josh, yeah.
The virus sent me the mighty quest for epic loot with the message, nickels and dimes. You know what a synonym for loot is? Booty. And I'm a comin' for dat booty, XOXOXO, the virus. Thank you very much, the virus.
That's a little, threatening though, isn't it?
Nah.
He said he's coming for that booty.
Swiggity swooty. What are you gonna do?
I don't know, I guess.
Can't really stop people coming for that booty.
I hear that game's pretty good. I know, because this Blood Bowl league that I've been in has been going on for like 12 months now, I've watched what all the Polaris channels have been playing and talking about, and about 6 months ago, it was the mighty quest for epic loot.
Sweet.
Right now, it's like Dawn Gate. And 2 months ago, it was the Last Federation.
What was Dawn Gate? Was it the MOBA one?
That's the EA MOBA, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently
So I
it's pretty
re-rolled
good.
my Black Bean into an Anarchist cookbook, and I'm not real happy about that.
Oh, Nick, thank you for telling me what it was. Because I left it there just in case I wanted to re-roll it in the future.
Fighting the boss now.
Yeah, and the boss is famine, right? So you can't re-roll the cube of meat. So I'll just take the Black Bean with me then. Very clever. Ruka! Tomo's at the vet right now, and Ruka's freaking out.
I miss his buddy.
He does, but we try to, I mean, I shouldn't be sounding so incredulous, but I'll finish my sentence anyway. We try to explain to him that he's just at the vet, but he's still, like, meowing all the time. And now I realize how dumb that sounds.
He doesn't understand.
Yeah.
You should take him to the vet, too, and then they'll be together at the vet.
Hey, Small Tomo just subscribed as well.
Yay, small Tomo.
Up, down to the side, welcome to the Lion Pride. Oh, Nick, apparently...
Yeah?
You don't want to take the Black Bean. Also, Jewberry. Up, down to the side, welcome to the Lion Pride. Apparently you don't want to take the Black Bean because it's a special item, but it's a bad special item, thereby giving you a lower chance of getting good special items in the future.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Excuse me? I've been doing my best to be a lot more positive about comments lately, and I posted a big like Ask FM thing about it, which is like, I've been really defensive, and that makes people more frustrated because I don't look at comments, and then I get more defensive because they get more frustrated. And it's been good. I feel like, on Magicite and Wizard's Lizard, I've been looking at feedback and soliciting it, and it's been much more positive. I had like a guy yesterday that was like, Northernlion, like, why didn't you use the katana in this episode? Like, you fucking idiot. And then somebody replied to him and was like, hey, how about you don't be a dick about it? And he's like, I'm sorry. I just find it impossible to be nice to people that do stupid things like that. And I was like, it just reminded me again that life is on the internet. Or life on the internet is, it's an interesting...
It's a strange place.
It's hard to explain to people who don't kind of get stuff like it all the time, that it can make an otherwise normal person a little crazy.
And it can just make a normal happy day into something a little less for no reason.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true.
An action that you performed in a video game that is completely inconsequential to everyone.
Yeah, like...
matters to you for some reason. Like, why?
Well, maybe that's the way you see it, but for me, like, whenever I do something dumb in The Binding of Isaac, I twirl my long mustache that I grew after tying up a young lady and dropping her on the train tracks, and I say, haha, got those fuckers. That's, they're really gonna love that one. Anyway.
That's pretty silly.
Long story short, I have been more positive about the comments, and I understand why people get frustrated at me. I'm just being more okay with it. But apart from that, that comment was funny yesterday. I had 2 new subscribers I wanted to shout out. The Awesomest Man Alive and Tom Reese 1. Thank you very much for those subscriptions.
And I want to also shout out a new subscriber. It keeps scrolling every time I look at your name. Seth Rick X just subscribed, and I also had a donation, which was from Swede Beans, $10 donated. Says, "Hail the Swedish trifecta and let the holy Swedish spirits resurrect Josh the horse."
Yeah,
you're a wild dude. Thank you very, very much for the subscription and for the donation. I appreciate it.
That is very nice. Do you think if we donated to SGDA, sorry, SGDQ, sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
We could use it as like a promotional thing and be total scumbags. We could be like, Northernlion donated $200 and says twitch.tv/Northernlion. Like, do you think you could do that?
All right, so I'd be lying if I say that didn't cross my mind, but the reason I say that is not because I was actively trying to think of ways to promote myself, but because I actually wanted to donate anyway, and then I realized if I did, it might come across as a promotion.
Yeah.
So it's a unique position to be in where you might feel like you shouldn't do something generally nice just because you feel like people might read it wrong.
Oh, yeah, apparently Bananasaurus Rex did that earlier.
He did. I gave him lots of rec specs in the chat. Also, I got poop in this damn item room.
Oh, man, that sucks.
I'm gonna re-roll it now.
Nick, I heard you got banned from,
Yeah, I said hi in chat. They banned me for 10 minutes. After 20,000 goddamn kappas, I write hi and I get banned.
Good. That's really funny.
I think they were just literally banning people at random. Because I didn't do anything wrong. Someone actually said hi to me, I replied to them, and that's all it was. Ooh, tears up. I like that. How's your floor 2 or whatever you're on going?
Well, I got to deal with the devil, which allowed me to pick up the mark.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And I got the Spelunker's hat, but I don't have any bombs.
Okay.
And I want to explain why I'm not using the Hermit card, thereby forcing me to abandon the 2 of Hearts, for people that are curious. I want to save the Hermit card until I have 15 cents, so I can actually guarantee that I'm using it kind of effectively. And I don't really feel like the 2 of Hearts is worth all that much until we come across an arcade, or until it gets a little later. That's that. Anyway. How was your second floor? That was my second floor in a nutshell.
How did you get into this nutshell?
Exactly. You got it.
Oh, I got my bomb back and a spirit heart for breaking that rock. I got a pill out of this floor that gave me tears up and a wooden spoon as my item, so, like, pretty average.
Yeah. But, yeah, pretty, good enough, I guess, but...
That was my reroll from the poop, was a wooden spoon, so, like, better than poop,
yeah,
but
that's true.
That's about it.
That was in the item room.
Yes.
Wow.
And now I'm fighting double Larry Juniors.
That's unfortunate. My secret room is a
poison.
Unicorn horn. What was in my item room? What was in my item room?
Not poop?
It wasn't good because I didn't pick it up. Oh, it was Mini Mush, so I should reroll this instead because Mini Mush is actually okay. Dad's key is garbage, though. Anyway.
Do you know if Edmund's just going to remove some of the crappier items, or is he going to keep everything and add?
Oh, you think Rebirth is still coming out? It's been canceled.
Well, I mean, in the theoretical version that he's been toying around with in his mind. I know
like
he's canceled it for real.
If he had continued working on Rebirth.
Right, like if somebody was holding him to possible torture or something if he didn't come up with the next iteration of this game.
I think instead of taking bad items out, he would actually just make all the items worse. In order
that's a good point.
Because that's really the way that things should be balanced.
I have a red drop of blood and a contract. Do I want either of these?
What's your HP at? 3 or 4?
It's at 4.
4? I would take the contract if I were you.
All right.
Because if you interact, your life is on contract.
Oh, shit.
Your best bet is to stay away from the blood, motherfucker. It's just one of those items.
I needed the damage. Also, we had another donation a second ago. It was from Rolf Soldat, who donated $6.90 and said, "Don't spend it all on drugs. Thank you very much, and I won't."
Yeah, because that's going to make your gastrointestinal tract act up.
Yeah, I really want to be able to continue to eat Taco Bell and not have to shit myself.
I've mentioned this many times, but I've never had Taco Bell. Just because the only time I've ever been to a Taco Bell was when it was and it had been multiple times, was when it was combined with KFC, and I was always like, well, I already love Big
Famous
Crunch
bowl.
combos. No,
Right.
Not the famous bowls.
Well, that's what I would have done anyway.
I love the Big Crunch combos, so why would I get out of my comfort zone? It's not like I'm eating Big Crunch combos like 4 days a week and I need some variety. Big Crunch combo's already kind of like a treat. So...
Found a rosary. That's good.
It's okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Do I want to re-roll the rosary?
Is it in the... Where is it? Item room?
The item room, yeah.
Here's the thing with the rosary. It causes probably your next shop to have the Bible in it. So when you buy the rosary, your thinking is that you're going to spend 15 cents on the rosary or on the Bible in the shop and then re-roll it into something else.
Okay, I'm not gonna do this.
Okay.
So re-roll it then?
Maybe, yeah. It depends. If you desperately need health, you might want to pick it up.
Well, I have like 5 spirit hearts, so that's probably okay.
You're probably going to be fine. I would expect you to be
Re-rolled.
fine.
I got sad onion. I'm happy.
Yeah, sad onion is a lot better. I'm going to take common cold instead of the ability to fly, just to mix it up a little bit. Common cold's a good item. I like it.
There's so many items in this game. Like, I love this game, and I've played it a lot of hours, but I just don't have a good enough memory to be able to play it now, so I can't imagine if there's going to be, like, 200 more items, how I'm going to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Like, especially with the synergies, it's just crazy.
Although there's part of me that just kind of loves that the chaos element of it all, too. Just, like, let the cards fall where they may, and we'll learn it all afterward, what happened, and then, well, I'll let the commenters let me know, I guess.
Well, that's what I'm hoping is that, you know, when/after Rebirth comes out, there will be a period of a little while where people don't know everything about it, which will
Nope.
be cool.
No.
Oh,
It's
I
already
mean,
been
yeah, people
all
will
figured
obviously
out.
crack into the code the day it comes out, but I want to believe that that won't happen.
I would be surprised if the wiki was not complete right now.
The wiki is actually, like, the wiki for Isaac is apparently full of misinformation.
Oh, I know. I didn't say it would be good information. I
you
just said it would be complete.
Yeah, it would be technically done, yeah.
It would all be there. Just you can look at it and then get angry at the person who did it wrong because they didn't follow what the wrong information said on the wiki.
I love that. I like that a lot.
You should always blame the YouTuber, not the wiki.
That never happens. Like, the wiki being wrong just doesn't happen. So
Yeah. Well, obviously that stuff's all peer-reviewed and focus group tested.
Well, it's basically the New England Journal of Medicine, but for the Binding of Isaac.
Obviously, or they wouldn't allow it to be on the internet.
That's exactly right, yeah. That is 100% correct.
Do you think they put shit on the internet that's not true? What kind of world are you living in?
This up. Ooh, that's pretty good. That's going to make the shop worthwhile. And yes, I realize it could be cutesy here and use the Hermit card to escape from this room. Also, Majestic Manatee, thanks for the subscription. I could use the Hermit card to escape from this room, but I would rather fight it and maybe get some more consumables. But I will use the Hermit card before leaving the floor. If I'm going to be honest, or if I'm going to, like, protect myself from some criticism here, probably the best thing to do is to wait on the Hermit card, use it after the mom fight, thereby allowing me to teleport out of the mom fight, possibly snag that deal with the Devil Chance that would otherwise be inaccessible. Then I would also teleport into the shop there, but I'm going to use it here to save a key and open up a slot, ride a cowboy, something, something.
Every time you started to say Hermit card, I was hoping you were going to say Hermit crab, and I don't know why. It made me disappointed each time.
I can understand that, Nick. I can.
Why isn't there a hermit crab in this game?
NL, best troll I've had in a while. I was horrified that Rebirth was canceled for about 3 minutes.
You should become horrified again, because it is.
It is canceled. Yeah. I'm glad you had a brief moment of respite, but your reaction originally was correct.
Wake up to reality. We all have to share it.
Yeah, oh, there goes gravity.
Something about rabbit. Yeah, I don't know. Health up. I got stem cells.
What floor are you on right now?
Caves 1.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I got Spirit of the Night for 2. No, I can't use up all my hearts.
Spirit of the night.
Ghost Baby for 3 spirit hearts?
No.
Okay.
You tell that deal to fuck right off. That's a terrible deal. Spirit of the night. Well worth it, though.
Yeah, but I would have 1 red heart after that, and I don't trust myself.
Fair enough. You can at least sing It Was the Rhythm of the Night, though.
Rhythm was a dancer? I don't know what you're talking about.
Those songs probably came out within 6 hours of one another, if I know anything about the early 90s. And I sort of don't.
We just played the secret song because Magic Johnsonson just donated $6.90 with the message,
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine, as far as I know. So thank you very much for your generosity. I greatly appreciate the support. The heck is the sound? That's the donation sound. I have it play the secret song from Battle Block Theater, which is like my favorite song of all time. I have a reroll, but there's nothing to use it on. I guess I'll just go down a floor.
Yeah.
Or I could open that chest. No, we're going down.
It's a good, it's not a good song. It's a song, though. Can't deny that.
I mean, you could, but you wouldn't be living in the reality where Rebirth is canceled, which is the real one.